Hello everybody and welcome to a special video. I wanted to show you my late game Surviving Mars campaign. I've gotten to a point where I'm essentially in equilibrium.
Low.
Everything looks very stable for me right now.
Earth-sick colonists.
Some people are Earth-sick, but that's okay, that's part of it. So I thought I would show you what kind of a late game scenario looks like. Here I've essentially exhausted all of the technology trees. Now for you might get some technologies that I didn't get. And I've gotten to the very end here, but I don't have all the wonders. For example, I don't have all of the technologies that I've seen sometimes in other runs. So it does look like it's going to be slightly different for everybody. Definitely the order is randomized, but also you don't actually find all the technologies. But let's just jump into it and take a look at some of the stuff that I've got going on here. So I started with one of the more difficult scenarios. I think I had like a 250% difficulty rating. So like I discussed before, I wanted to try one of these more challenging beginnings. This is an area with frequent meteor strikes and I think dust storms as well. But it wasn't too challenging in that aspect. I think actually the more difficult aspect of it was the economic thing, where I had more limited funds and had to work through that. So I believe the first dome that I set up was actually this one. No, I think that's incorrect. I believe it might have been this one. So
vehicle battery low.
You can see here, yeah, this was the initial one. So I set up my farms over here and I found out that the farms are actually probably the best way to get food. So I got to a point, first I was doing potatoes and then I unlocked the fruit trees. Look at all the food we have right now. I set up some factories here, of course. Early on,
analyzed.
Machine parts is something you're going to need. One thing that was completely instrumental and kind of pivotal in my campaign here is that we unlocked the fusion reactors and then we also got the eternal fusion upgrade. What this means is that we need no workers for this. So as long as we have the electronics to maintain these buildings, we're getting 300 power hourly here. And this kind of has all my needs covered in terms of power. For redundancy, I do have some atomic accumulators in case one of these go out for whatever reason. We're gonna have power. Let's take a look at our overview here and take a look at our resources. I did say I was
that hindering the construction of
let's just skip this. That's the mystery that I encountered. I won't really go into it because I don't want to spoil it for you in case you're interested in doing those. But just let's take a look, because I did mention I was in equilibrium, so let's take a look at our stats here. You can see production is outweighing consumption for all of these quite nicely, if I do say so myself. The food says 0 because the harvests are irregular, but they're way above what we actually need. You can see our food surplus is redonkulous. And then over here, advanced resources, got a nice production of polymers, decent electronics. Of course, the maintenance for those is always going to be quite significant. Fuel and machine parts are doing also alright. And look at our funds, of course, because we have this nice rare metals income over here. Oh, let's just destroy that real quick. Again, we're not going to mention what these black cubes are because that's part of the mystery, and you might be interested in going through that yourself. But look at some of the cool wonders that we have. So the telescope essentially gives you research benefits. The Mohole mine gives you steady income of metals and rare metals. And over here we have the space elevator, which allows us to export those rare metals consistently. And we also get preferential prices whenever we have to import things. So if you're going to here, instead of using a cargo rocket, you can use a space elevator and you get better prices whenever you have to import stuff. But luckily I got into a position where I didn't need to import anything. You can see how our power just spikes during nighttime because the factories aren't running. Do we still have someone? Yeah, okay, that guy ran out of power. So we can actually rescue him over there. We'll go do that. But yeah, look at all the resources. Doesn't it look awesome? All the resource piles, stockpiles right there. So yeah, space elevator, 10 out of 10 in terms of utility. This guy over here actually gives traits to citizens. Look at all the traits this thing has given over time. It's insane. It's actually really powerful. And then another thing that was very useful is I managed to get I think it's the medium dome quite early on as well. So I managed to build this and then mine rare resources and sell those. Lots of factories, and also the archaeology I should say. The archaeology building right here allows us to have large populations. Like for this one we have 128 slots, but even bigger in our mega dome. If you take a look at this, actually, oh, what's going on there? Oh, it just looks like the storage was full for a second. Just check in. Yeah, it does look like our electronics depot is overflowing, which is of course fantastic. But yeah, so if you take a look at this one, this is actually a wonder. This is a Geo Dome. You can see there's some rocks there. It kind of looks like Earth, and therefore I guess people feel better. This one has like an inherent comfort benefit, is what I was trying to say. So even though we have factories over here and people are working, they're not working night shifts. They're overall really happy because we have lots of comfort stuff going on. We have universities, schools for kids, a casino for gamblers, security stations, and this is another wonder. The excavator allows you to get concrete out of the ground, so it doesn't need a deposit. It has a nice kind of outcome of concrete. Another thing, you'll see my waste piles are actually almost empty. That's because of a technology that allows you to consume the waste piles and generate concrete. So that's why we still have very high concrete, despite I don't have any concrete extractors working right now. This is just from the waste piles. So yeah, it's looking very solid, and at this point I've built everything that the campaign allows me to build, essentially. Again, looking at the research here, we've done everything. We're only doing kind of smaller things here, but we've built everything that we've unlocked, including the Mega Dome, the Geo Dome, all of the wonders you can see over here. The wonders can only be built once. I think there are actually 7 wonders, as as it's only fit. But we only have access to these 6. I think we're missing one, which I don't actually know what it is. And some of these are actually not that good. That's why I haven't built some of them. But the archaeology was actually 10 out of 10, and the medical center was good because it allowed me to have a very high birth rate. That's why my population is so insanely high. I don't know if we can see it. Yeah, 740 colonists. And overall, they're incredibly happy. You can see we have tons of people looking for work. That's because my birth rate is actually out of control right now, and I would have to keep building domes to accommodate for this. I actually recently just built this dome, and it filled up just like that. I don't think I even had to bring any shipments. You can see we got all the jazz. We got electronics store, open air gym, stuff for the kids, and even though we're rolling a couple factories here, most of all the other buildings are just services. So Martian University, I don't even need science at this point because everything is unlocked, so I'm not building any science anymore. Spacebar, can build more stuff, right? We could we still have the space, could build more things. Honestly, I don't think there's anything else aside from the science stuff. I think I have everything else. We don't have an art shop, I guess, but we do have that elsewhere. So yeah, that's kind of it. We can just keep building, right? I mean, in fact, we have a little bit of a overpopulation problem, so I guess we can build a couple of apartments here to accommodate for that. But yeah, it's pretty stable. it's pretty stable. It feels so good because in a lot of these campaigns you're playing reactionary. You run out of a material and you have to react, and then you're running out of this other material, you gotta do something, but then as a result you're lacking this other thing. So it's been great for quite a while now. I've been running on this kind of balanced state where we have the resources that we need. And another thing about stability is not relying on deposits. So right now, if you take a look, we're not relying on any natural deposits whatsoever. The only thing we're mining from deposits is rare metals from this very high concentration here. But looking at our funds, we don't need the money, right? The only thing we need these metals for are our factories, and the factories consume only a small amount of these rare metals. So if we stopped exporting, we could just stockpile, and in fact I think we might do that. Just stop this, we'll just stockpile endless rare metals, essentially all of this deposit here, and that will last us for years, right? Like we wouldn't even have to worry about it. But I did want to just show you how awesome this is. I'm pretty stoked about it. I think like all of these wonders, all the buildings and everything look just incredible, and it's so satisfying to have all of this set up and working this nicely. Some people get earth sick, that's fine, that's normal. But yeah, do farms. Like my one takeaway from this entire campaign is that farms are by far the most scalable food income that you can have. I was doing fungal farms before, and even though you can build them outside of the dome, that's an advantage, of course. Just the sheer amount of food you can get from these is insane, and some upgrades like this one just make it even more reliable as a source of income. Look at this, we're already running out of space. I literally, at the beginning of this video, I built 2 more storages over here. So yeah, the other thing is the shuttle hubs are instrumental in this, because of course we're gonna be producing different things in different domes. But one thing I do every now and then is a little bit of manual load balancing. So I'll grab food from here, for example, and bring it over there, because of course we only have one little farm. Look at this, only one small farm. This small farm is producing essentially what we need for its entire population, and it's a large population, right? So you can see our food is steadily going up. It's just steadily building. Same goes for all the other resources. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Let me know if you have any comments, and we can discuss how I got here. But it was very satisfying. It was one of the it wasn't the most difficult beginning, but again, I think it was between 250 and 300% difficulty. So it was one of those, the game is throwing stuff at you and actively trying to shut you down. And I did manage to get something very stable, and we could just keep building, right? There's plenty of space still, plenty of stuff, and we're not relying on mineral deposits anymore. So we're really self-sufficient at this point. But yeah, we'll leave it here. Please let me know if you have any comments. Do you have any experience with the game so far? Are you interested in discussing anything about the mid-game? We've seen kind of early game stuff.
A colonist has died.
In the Let's Play. That's fine. That's fine. And we're seeing some late game stuff here. I might do some streams on the game. I'm having a blast with it so far. But we'll leave it here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you did. And as always, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.